Have you ever woken up in a bed you've shared for 40 years, looked at the person lying next to you, and realized you're sleeping next to a complete stranger? The house is full of memories. The photos on the walls show a couple in love, but the silence between you is so heavy, it feels like a physical wall. This isn't a loud divorce with shouting and broken plates. This is the silent divorce, the slow, quiet fading of two souls who simply stopped seeing each other. On this channel, we don't look away from the hard truths. We know that many of you are living in this polite loneliness, making tea in the same kitchen, but never really talking. You wonder, is this just what aging looks like? Is passion supposed to die after 4 decades? You might feel like it's too late to change anything, or that you're the only one feeling this hollow ache in your chest. But stay with me until the very end of this video. By the final block, I will reveal a truth about long-term marriage that most people are too afraid to admit. A truth that can either set you free or show you exactly how to tear that invisible wall down. Let's start with the first sign. When did the we turn back into I? The second stage of a silent divorce is when you stop talking to each other and start talking at each other. Have you noticed how your conversations have slowly narrowed down to a checklist? Did you pay the electric bill? What do we need from the grocery store? When are the grandkids coming over? It's a polite, functional way of living that feels like a business partnership, not a marriage. You share a roof, a bank account, and a history, but you no longer share your inner world. I know the exhaustion of trying to start a real conversation, only to be met with a one-word answer or a blank stare at the television. It's easier to just stop trying, isn't it? To keep the peace by staying silent. But this peace is a slow poison for long-term intimacy. When you stop asking, "How do you feel?" and only ask, "What's for dinner?" you are officially mourning the death of the person you fell in love with. And the most terrifying part, you might be doing it to protect yourself from the pain of being ignored. Stay tuned, because in the next blocks, we will look at the exact moment this silence becomes permanent and what lies on the other side of that door. The third stage is the most painful because it's built on a lie we tell the world. You've reached 40 years. People call you goals. Your children toast to your everlasting love at family dinners. And in those moments, you smile, you nod, and you feel like the biggest fraud in the room. I know the heavy weight of that golden anniversary. It feels like you've signed a contract to be happy, even if you're dying inside. You don't want to disappoint the kids. You don't want your friends to pity you. So you keep the silent divorce a secret. You protect the image of the marriage while the actual relationship is starving to death. But here is the question most people are too afraid to ask. Who are you protecting? Him? The kids? Or the ghost of who you used to be? This shame is a cage that keeps you from the truth. But remember what I promised at the beginning. There is a way out of this cage. In the next block, we are going to look at the physical toll this silence takes on your body and why staying for the sake of peace might be the most dangerous thing you've ever done. You can lie to your friends, and you can lie to your children, but you can never lie to your own body. In the fourth stage of a silent divorce, the lack of intimacy begins to manifest as physical pain. Have you noticed the tightness in your shoulders that won't go away? The sleepless nights spent staring at the ceiling, listening to his breathing across the room. This isn't just old age, it's the weight of 40 years of unsaid words. When you stop touching, when you stop hugging, and when you stop sharing a simple look of understanding, your nervous system feels it. Your body begins to view your partner not as a source of comfort, but as a source of stress. You might find yourself flinching when he accidentally brushes against you in the kitchen, or feeling a wave of relief when he leaves the house for an hour. I know that feeling. The peace that only comes from being alone. But this physical distance is a warning sign. Your body is trying to tell you that you've been staying for the sake of peace, but you've lost your inner peace in the process. We are halfway through this journey, and in the next block, we are going to look at the breaking point, the moment you realize that silence isn't safety, it's a prison. The fifth stage of a silent divorce is the most terrifying because it's the moment you finally stop lying to yourself. It usually happens in a mundane moment, washing the dishes, watching him sleep, or realizing that you haven't had a real laugh together in 5 years. Suddenly, the peace you fought so hard to keep feels like a funeral. You look at the next 20 years and you realize, I cannot do this for one more day. This realization often brings a wave of guilt. You think about the grandchildren, the house, and the 40 years of history. You feel like a bad wife for wanting more than just a roommate. But I know that feeling, the silent scream in your throat when he asks, "Where is the remote?" And you realize that's all you are to him now. In this block, the truth starts to crack the surface. Is it better to stay in a comfortable cage or to walk out into the cold alone? Stay with me for the last 2 blocks, because the answer I promised you at the start is coming. It's not what you think, and it's the only thing that can truly save your soul. In the sixth stage of a silent divorce, we have to talk about the most difficult choice of all: why we stay. Most people think they stay for the children, the house, or the shared history. But I know the deeper truth. We stay because we are terrified of the unknown. We choose the predictable cold of a dead marriage over the uncertain cold of being alone at 70. But have you ever calculated the real cost of this safety? Every year you spend in this silence is a year you are choosing not to be seen, not to be touched, and not to be truly alive. You aren't just waiting for the end. You are actively killing the woman you were meant to be in this chapter of your life. I know the fear that says, who will take care of me if I leave? Who will even know I exist? But as we move into the final block, I want you to remember the promise I made at the very beginning. The truth isn't about whether you should leave or stay. It's something much deeper that changes everything, regardless of your choice. It's the final piece of the puzzle that will finally quiet that scream in your throat. Here is the truth I promised you at the very beginning of this journey. The real tragedy of a silent divorce isn't that you might leave or that you might stay. The tragedy is that you stop being a person and start being a piece of furniture in your own house. But here is the secret. You don't need a lawyer or a courtroom to end the silence. You only need to stop waiting for him to notice you and start noticing yourself. I know the terror of realizing you've been forgotten, but the only way to be visible again is to stop hiding. Whether you choose to walk out that door or to stay and light a fire in your own heart, you must reclaim your soul. Turn on the light. Buy the flowers. Speak the words you've been swallowing for decades. The truth is, you aren't too old to be happy, and you aren't too late to be seen. You have survived 40 years of marriage. You can survive the truth of who you are. This is your life, and it is still happening right now. Don't let it fade into grey. Be seen. Be heard. Be alive.